With the interior finished and the body also completed in the last video, I now needed to finish off a couple final parts in painting and prepping before the entire build could be put together. So the calipers, some wheels and some chassis components were prepped and also primed and then painted in various different colors. If you thought I'd be finished with the carbon fiber decals on this build, you were wrong. There were still about 18 decals left to be placed on the diffuser for the rear. Now I decided to only do the diffuser and not the main centerpiece, as that wouldn't ever be seen again and it would waste a lot of decals, and by this time I was kind of done with it, so I figured I'd finish this piece off with the carbon fiber, then clear coat it all together with the wheels, the calipers, and the final pieces for the chassis, so I can just complete the build. So like I just mentioned, all the parts that were painted at the beginning of the video were clear coated. I did not film it, as I've done that in this video series a couple of times already, so I figured I could skip that step. With all the parts dry and ready, I could move on to start assembly. I put the exhaust pieces in and then put the main rear diffuser piece in as well. Alongside that big piece for the chassis, as mentioned, that was not done with carbon fiber decals as it wouldn't be seen, and I was kind of over the carbon fiber by now. So I just put it in place and then put the supplied screws in and tightened that down before moving on to some more assembly on the disc brakes and caliper setup. After putting the calipers onto the discs, I tried putting them inside the wheels. Now the rear fit pretty much fine. The center of the disc needs to be ground out a bit to make it a bit wider to fit over the wheel. On the front it had the same problem, but then I also ran into the problem of the caliper being way too big and not fitting inside of the wheel. So I needed to trim a little bit off of the caliper in order for that setup to fit. So at the beginning of the video I painted the wheels in a matte black, and then mentioned that I painted them over with a clear coat to give them a nice and glossy finish, and to add a second tone to it, or a diamond cut or diamond polish in this case, I also added some monochrome paint pen to the highest edges to give it a nice two-tone look. Now be aware of this, guys, the monochrome paint pens look really good, though it does really take a long time before they cure. So be sure to let them cure properly for a couple days or maybe even weeks before you start to roughly handle them. I mentioned in an earlier video that I wasn't really sure if I wanted the wing in the up or the down position, so I had to come up with a way to make it adjustable so I can do either or. In this case, a friend of mine mentioned that there were some really small magnets available, and I ordered them. I just drilled a small pocket into the wing and also in the uprights of the wing, then gently glued those magnets in place on both sides, so I have a magnetized wing that I can put on and off, and if I just remove the uprights for the wing, I can put it in the down position as well, which I will now demonstrate. With the wing now fixed, I could move on to the final parts, and that is gluing on the wheels before calling this one finished.